Well, good morning and welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith, and how are you all today? It's a nice looking day out there. I want to talk today about who you should listen to. You know, I tell you, like pretty much anything else in the world, the preparedness world is full of a very different group of people. You've got a spectrum from the folks who know a lot, clear down to the ones who don't know much, but are willing to tell you all about it, you know. So I want to talk about that today. I don't know if I've ever told you all the story of the pickle inspector. I think I'm going to put this one on the regular YouTube channel because I have another one that I'm going to do for Patreon over there. If you're not with us on Patreon, I'm going to tell you right now, you should be. If you're serious about preparedness, you need to be. It's only $1 a month, and the link is down below. And not only do I put stuff over there that I don't put on YouTube, I put a lot of other stuff from other sources, and we have a group of people over there that are just exceptional. Not just in the comment section of the regular videos, but we have a community section that is just phenomenal. We have people that of a wide variety of knowledge, and it'll help you. Anyway, that's my invitation to you all. The link is down below. So I think I've told this story about the pickle inspector before over on the Patreon channel, but I'm going to share it here because I think it's a good lesson. I was going through some boxes. Let's do a little weenie weeding here first, shall we? Do you all know what that is? Have you heard me? There's always some, occasionally, not always, there's occasionally some bozo that says, I like your video, but I can't stand you slurping and swallowing your coffee. And my response is always, man, you are on a preparedness channel, apparently wanting to know how to survive the end of the world, and somebody gulping coffee bothers you? Well, you're a weenie. So let's do a little weenie weeding here. And for if there's any of those sneaking around out there in the grass right now, we're going to pull that weed. I tried to swallow as loudly as I could to get him gone. So anyway, I might have to do that. Anyway, I was moving some boxes. I hadn't really meant to go through the boxes. I was moving some boxes. You know how you do that every year? You got cardboard boxes from years ago. You don't know what's in them. You keep moving them back and forth. Maybe you're not like that. Maybe you're more organized. I'm organized in a sense that everything's in a box, and then the box goes over in the back corner of the basement. Well, anyway, I was moving some stuff around because I was. And I opened a box, and I came across this, and I hadn't seen this for I don't know how long. I hold it up for you. I know that I've mentioned this before. You all see that? That's my certificate from DEA school. And it brought back, it's from 1979, right when the drug wars were really, really gearing up, and we had some fun. Those were interesting times. I've told some stories about that over on the Patreon channel. Another reason you should come and join us. But I won't get into it here. But that brought back, of course, memories, right? And one of which was when I went to DEA school. I was selected to go. There was a new multi-jurisdictional, multi-agency drug squad being put together in my city. And so different guys were selected from the different agencies and sent off to DEA school. Well, it was kind of a, we learned about the what they told us, a lot of which was wrong, to be honest. what was going on in the drug world, the new threat from South America, the new cocaine that was coming at that time. Cocaine was new, fairly new, at least in the United States. But it was a time for us to relax. I mean, we were all experienced cops, old salts, old dogs already, even though we were young. A lot of experience, because you got chosen because of your experience and just the way you were. And there's a certain personality type that does best undercover. I happened to be that. I didn't fit in real well with a lot of the spit and polish uniform guys, So I think that to an extent they kind of wanted to get me out of there, and they said, Smith would do a lot better if he was working the real scumbags. So anyway, I got selected and sent off to DEA school. Had a good time. Met a lot of guys from a lot of agencies. We'd go to classes during the daytime and then go out at night and go have dinner and go out to the strip joints and close them down and get up the next day and go back to class. You know how it is. Well, most of the guys, for the most part, it was fairly interesting. It was survivable in the sense that most of the instructors who came in from DEA had been field guys. They knew what they were doing. They were experienced guys. They knew. First off, they knew what they were talking about. Secondly, they knew that we knew what we were talking about. So they weren't trying to, come off as all that, because they knew that wouldn't work. Well, one day a guy comes in. Excuse me, another weenie weeding here. One day a guy comes in. This guy is totally different. Now, you picture this. We're sitting around in a room, a bunch of shaggy-looking guys, right? Growing our hair out while we're out of town, and growing our beards out, and looking like, crap. And most of the instructors were, too. A lot of the guys had been, had come back up from South and Central America, and, they were good guys. In walks this guy. He looked like a shiny penny. He had a crew cut back in the time when crew cuts were not common. I know nowadays it's all the shaved heads and keeping their hair close to look tactical, but back then it wasn't that. You saw a crew cut on a guy and you said, well, he's either active duty Marine or he's a dork, right? Well, this guy was not an active duty Marine, so that leaves one other option. See, he walks in. He's got a big gut on him, which none of us had. Cops didn't have guts back then. That's another thing. My Lord, I look around and I see some of the bellies on these guys. Gee, man, what if you had to chase somebody across the backyards and over fences and stuff? Well, I know the guys with the guts don't do that. That's how they got guts. They stayed inside with the captain and the donuts. But anyway, so he came in. He got kind of a white shirt with purple designs all over it. I think he might have even had a white belt on. I don't remember, but my mind might be making that one up, but I'm not sure. I wouldn't doubt it. Wouldn't doubt it at all. And he comes strolling in, and he thinks he is just the you-know-whats, right? And on his hip is a big, shiny Colt 45 government model. And we're all looking at him like, who is this jackass? Well, he gets to talking, and the class was a compliance class. Nobody wanted to be there because it covered stuff that nobody wanted to deal with. It was about how to make doctors on, our cases on doctors giving diet pills to soccer moms, None of us gave a darn about that. We were going to get out there and get down in the dirt and do the real stuff, right? Well, but he comes in and you would have thought the compliance, dealing with a doctor, signing a script for some, somebody was just the most important thing in the world. So we survived it for a little while, but then he started telling stories. And he started telling stories, war stories, right? War stories. Now, when you have experience, you can tell when somebody is just full of BS. The uninitiated, the inexperienced don't know when somebody is full of BS. And they think that these stories and the things that they say are exciting. And then they pass it on. And I'm going to bring this back around and show you how this applies right here. And then they pass it around. And this was a guy that probably, if he went out and gave speeches to, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I'll go ahead and finish this and I'll come back. If you give that and go out and give speeches to, the Rotary Club and moms groups at the elementary schools and things like that, they'd all be very impressed, and they'd come back and say, oh, this guy really knew what he was talking about. He told us all about this and all about that. And he really knows, Of course, the guys who really knows this guy's full of it. So anyway, he's telling all these stories, and we're going, what is this? First off, we can tell by the way you are, you never did this stuff. Secondly, and the way you talk, because for the most part, guys who have done it don't talk like they've done it. Okay, that's just real. It's always guys telling stories who have heard a story from somebody else, and they try to make that story their own, right? Or they try to pass it off like by telling the story, they know. They're building themselves up because they know. So anyway, we said, this guy's some kind of jackass. Well, what's the deal with him? Well, we started pressing the other DEA guys about him, and at first they didn't want to say much, because he's a member of their agency, But finally, one of the guys broke down that would come out with us to the strip joints at night. And he finally told us, and he said that when Jim Akata was realigning some of the federal agencies, he did away with a bunch of the positions in the Department of Agriculture. And this guy had been a supervisor in the Department of Agriculture. And so when his job was done away with there, they had to find a spot of equal level in another federal agency. And so because the war on drugs was gearing up, they knew they were going to be training a lot more guys. And so they thought they'd stick him in training and give him some little podunk class to teach, that would be good for him, like compliance. And so we said, well, what did he do in the Department of Agriculture, and how did that get him, over here? We thought, well, it had to do with, chemicals or stuff like that. Nope, the guy says he was a pickle inspector. He was a pickle inspector. Now, what can we learn from that? Well, we can learn a lot. Be careful who you listen to. And this is now all you guys out there who have been with me for a while, and all you guys with experience, you're laughing right now, right? And you're going, yeah, I've known those guys. I've known them. But some of the newer people, just getting into preparedness, or maybe don't have the experience. And there's nothing wrong with not having the experience. I want to suggest that there's nothing wrong with not having experience. It just means you've had a different life path than other people up till now. And if you're wanting to learn things from people with experience, that's good, especially if it has to do with preparedness. Good. But make sure that you are actually learning for people with experience, not just people who, like to talk. gruff and loud and, you know. But then also don't hold people with experience up as if they're gods, you know. We just did different things than you did. Okay. And to be honest, a lot of people with a lot of experience are pretty screwed up as a result of the experience. Not all, but we see that. We see that in the preparedness world, community, world, whatever. I see it a lot in the comments here. You know, I'll go into great detail about something or other, and then I'll see a comment where some guy comes on and says, yeah, but you know, you got to keep in mind that, and then they'll give some stupid comment like, you know, it would be like going to a conference where Einstein was, I'm not comparing myself to Einstein, was giving a lecture on, you know, general relativity, and somebody stands up and says, yeah, but you know, 2 + 2 = 4. It's the same kind of stuff. Just ridiculous. And so, you know, the thing is, we have to be careful with this. Preparedness is important. I mean, it's what you do to try to save your life, right? Try to sustain your life and try to prolong your life and try to do it in a way that, you know, that your life is good. You got to be careful who you listen to. And that's also why, I'll say right here, that's also why I police the comment section pretty closely. I don't let stupid comments stay on there because they can be so misleading to people who don't know. And I don't take off a lot of comments, but I do, and I watch them. As soon as somebody comes on and says something that is either stupid or misleading or whatever, it's coming off. And then if they argue about it, then I ban them. But don't let that dissuade you from leaving a comment, okay? We have a lot of great and very smart commenters here. I always say that I have the smartest viewers and the smartest commenters in YouTube land, and I hold to that. So don't let that, you know, scare you away from leaving a comment. Just don't come on and say something, you know, that you don't have the experience to back up, because I can tell. And because I'll you know, if a person does that, I'll either call them on it or I will just take it away, because I feel I have a responsibility here that whatever information comes out on my channel, whether it's from me or in the comments, I have a responsibility to make sure that the information is going to serve the viewers well. Does that make sense? Okay. This is not a free speech area here. It has nothing to do with free speech. This is my classroom. Okay. And this is a community. This is a community of all the people who come here and you know, talk back and forth and give some opinions and ask some questions and all that, and it works great. But I don't let morons come in here and, you know, I don't let pickle inspectors come in and try to tell guys how to run a drug investigation. Just in case there's any weenies left, one more. So, to that end, I want to remind you all, if you want the motherload of information about preparing for, surviving, and rebuilding after a total collapse of everything, my books, the Stonemont series, the Reversion, the Revival, the Renewal, and Appeal to Heaven, Blessings of Freedom, and the latest one that just came out not long ago, Hostages to Fortune. These are the books that I wrote. First one came out in 2017, so I've been at this a while, guys. And they have been read by hundreds of thousands of people all across the world. I have people that call me or text me or email me and say, I just got done rereading the whole series for the 5th time, and I'm still learning things that I missed the times before. I would suggest that if you want real in-depth information about preparing, if you haven't read my books, read my books. I'm not shy about that. That's why I wrote them. Okay, I wrote them for people to buy and to learn and to enjoy, to learn from and enjoy. It's a great story. You will find people in here that you will love. You'll find some that you can't stand, and you'll be happy to see what happens to the ones that you can't stand. But people have said it'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry, it'll make you think, it'll make you change the way that you look at preparedness, all sorts of things. And they're available two different places, Amazon being one. You can get them on Amazon. The link is down below. You can get them either in paperback or in Kindle. And or you can get them straight from me through our website, stonemont.us. That link is also down below. Stonemont is the name of the place. That's why I base a lot of stuff off of, is the name of the place where this is set, stonemont.us. And you can order them straight through there, through our website, and you can put down there if you'd like me to autograph them. It'll say, what would you like Steve to put in your book? And you can put, you know, whatever you want, or you can say to Bob, or you can say to Uncle Bob, happy birthday, you know, whatever you would like. So I ain't a pickle inspector. If you want a good story, a good read, if you want to find a world that you probably like better than the one you live in now, the books are for you. So that's it. Realize there's a lot of people out there shoveling a lot of you-know-what. And be careful, you know. Make sure, you know, use a little discernment. Common sense goes a long ways. And if somebody is just trying to, you know, well, anyway, keep that in mind. Learn from the guys who know, not from the guys who inspected the pickles. And remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. And I'm going to do something, well, I'm going to make another one for the people over on Patreon here in a minute. And then maybe tomorrow I'll share with you what else I'm going to do today. But you all have a good day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.